Good morning. It's time for me to share with anybody who wants to hear Leviticus chapter 12. Leviticus chapter 12. So far, God has been a father to us. He has given us as a good teacher would. He gave us a man named Moses. Moses listened to him as being the CEO of the children of Israel at this time. He gave him direct instructions on how he wants to run his business, his people, his family. He sat with Moses 40 days and 40 nights, gave him instructions, wrote it down. Moses came back, and these were the instructions that he was to give to his God's people. Moses only spoke the things that God spoke, and that was it. He said exactly what God said, carried out God's order, and that is the way God has wanted it ever since the beginning of time. What did I say? That's all I want you to do. And I think about what I say before I tell you to do it. So therefore I know you can do it. Hey, Wayne. So after God gave Moses instructions, and then he broke down the instructions, he said, I want you to first build the tabernacle. And then after you build the tabernacle, I'm going to give you the blueprint, and then you're going to take it down to the people. And I already got people assigned to carry out my blueprint. Once this tabernacle was built, God said, I got the building. I know where the people are supposed to be. They know where they're supposed to be. And everybody knows their positions. Like, I guess, I don't know how to play football, but I'm assuming that once you get the playing field, then everybody that's supposed to play get in position, and then they carry out whatever they were, I don't know about football, but whatever they were supposed to do in order to win the game. Everybody had to know their part. So we have all of the people in position, and now God is saying, I'm going to show you little by little how to carry this thing out. So we have the tabernacle built, we have the people knowing their position. Now let's put some laws in order, because you're getting ready to go to a new land. And I want you to know how to behave yourself. I'm bringing you out of a 400-year of bondage. And I know that when you're in bondage, you're not thinking right, because the only thing that you can really dwell on is I want to be set free. So now that I'm getting ready to loose you into this freedom, you got to have some restrictions, and you got to have some things that you know that's not going to work in your behalf. So Moses broke down the different laws. But the good thing about God is that you're going to break these laws, but I'm going to give you the things that you need to get right back with me. And these are the things you must bring me when you do wrong, because I know you're going to do wrong. But I just want you to stay right with me so I can always be your protector. Because if you ever get to the point that you ain't going to hear me, then I'm going to have to move you out the way. I don't see death the way man sees death. I see you as an interference. And when I have to take you out of here, you don't die at a good ripe age, that means I had a problem with you not following my instructions. So the penalty for hurting anybody, I don't care if your cow get out the fence and hurt your neighbor's child or kill your neighbor's child, that cow has to die the first time. It's only the cow. But if you don't get that fence in order so that cow won't get out again, and he does it again, that means you're being negligent. This time I'm going to kill your cow, I'm going to kill you too. Why? Because you're not following my instructions. So that's where we are with God when God was coming down from the instruction from Moses. And then we learned the behavior of God, how he set the temple up, and then he told the people, then he gave them the laws. When they break, if you break these laws, now I got to give you, show you the consequences of the laws broken. And then you understand the different offerings, the burnt offering, the grain offering, the sin offering, the trespass offering, all of those different offerings in the book of Leviticus. This book is just a book to tell you how I operate. In any business, if you are getting ready to start a business, you got to put the violations in case, because people going to break them. I mean, they're going to break them either by not knowing that's sin, or knowing and then still breaking, that's trespassing. So these are the things that God was saying. So now we got all the laws in place that you need, that you may hopefully not break. You may break them, you may not. But just in case you do, I got this fence around you to keep you safe. So as of all the way up to Leviticus 11, and God even broke down the parts of the law so you can understand what to do and what they, how to carry out whatever offenses that you made. Yesterday, he said, now, babies, my children, I want to show you how to eat. So in the 10th chapter 11, because he's caring about everything that concerns man. That's why I would say that if you really want to start a business or you want to start a family, follow God's blueprint, and it'll work anywhere, in any language, at any time, and for everybody. Because you're breaking down the things as a good teacher would. A good teacher knows that the vocabulary of what the child is getting ready to learn need to be explained, so we don't have to stop and go back over it again. So get the vocabulary out of the way, so that when they see the vocabulary is to be executed, they already know the meaning of it. So if you came into Leviticus 11, know that Leviticus 12, I mean, that's what I'm doing today. You have to have come to class. If I was breaking down the order of operation, if you walked in class on the 12th chapter, it would be better if you knew what happened before these 12 chapters. So I have plenty of videos to bring you here. There are other people online, especially on YouTube, that would break down the word better than me, but I do what I can do, because that's how I do me. It'll show you how to get to what all of the lessons that were missed. That's why the church is so important, because it carries the logo of God's name, or it tells people this is where you can find the word of God. A lot of times the only thing that you find is a concert or a performance, but instructions, people have to sit down, take notes. And I pray that our black community gets to the point that we take God's word. And there's a lot of, it's a lot of people I'm learning online that are in the word. They're not hidden from us. You just got to go search for them, because it's hard to find somebody who will break that word down that's famous, because they do things a little different from what I read. It's not to say it's an indictment, because I didn't know any better either. And until God showed me how to read, he said, you take the word. And he instructed me last year. He said, I want you to do the word the way you did your math class. Because I'm not going to let a child sit in my class and walk out and say, I don't understand this. Whatever I got to do to break it down so you can get it. Oh, we going down with this. That's how I taught math. So he said, take that same strategy, just like Peter that was fishing. He said, take what you did well in and go in there and execute my word, and I'll make you fishermen of men. So since you good at 6th grade math, I'm not saying that I'm good, but I know that I care enough to be careful about how I taught a child, and I broke it down. And I broke it down, and the results in the State Department approved and said, anyway, they gave me awards for it. Not because of me, it's because I sought the God of mathematics. And when he broke it down, I figured that's what I need to do. That's what Jesus did. He broke everything down. That's why the people were able to eat. All right, so now we're in the 12th chapter of Leviticus, and this is God gave us yesterday what you need to eat. I gave you the house. I gave you the laws. And then yesterday I showed you what I want you to put in your body so you can exercise and give me the best out of you. And what I had to give up yesterday, not knowing, I promise you, I went to the New Testament, I was trying to find something to let me know, please don't take away the pig from me. Because you know what, if you eat pig, you'll eat anything. You don't have any restrictions over your diet. Well, if you eat a pig, you will eat absolutely anything. And I say that because I'm talking about myself. Because when I go to the grocery store, I'm not looking at the labels, because I've already loosed myself that a pig was just basically, I'm breaking all the rules. And I enjoy the rules being broken. I like the rules being broken. I don't like the way I look. You say, well, that's the Old Testament. Look at me. I'm a New Testament representation of a person who ate the pig. So I'm not going to, now I'm watching what I eat. So now I'm very careful, because they sneak that pig and all that kind of stuff. I looked at yesterday, I liked some little chips. I had to go in there and see if they coated with pig. And some of them chips I liked was coated with pig. It just broke my spirit. But if I'm going to be a vessel that God can get the most out of, I got to be careful what I put inside of me. And just because he put in the Old Testament, that wasn't a bridge that you said, well, we burn that bridge down. No, there are principles in this thing. It's a foundation in here. Jesus said, I am coming to show you how to be everything that you were supposed to be. And we're not Jews in the Old Testament. I'm going to show you how to execute that thing and give you the meaning of it. I'm not saying that I can't get rid of the baby, because I can't abort the baby, the time that I was being carried. I was being carried in the Old Testament. That's as if a woman had me in the womb and carried me until she gave me birth. So all this time, my father was building everything in behalf so that I can get everything I needed while I was in the womb. And then 8 days after coming out of the womb, that's what we're getting ready to learn today. What to do after you get to have that baby. So God said, yesterday, put that pig out your diet. Get that catfish out of your diet. Everything that I ate yesterday, I was diligent over it. I haven't been like that. And I plan to live like that. Because I know I'm going to lose weight because most of everything I ate came from a pig. But anyway, that means I'm getting ready to be careful about what I put in my mouth. So now I understand that he's getting ready to. He's showing me how to eat. And then he's going to the first thing. So you know how to eat, everybody? Understand what you're going to eat. You know you can't eat in the camel, right? You know you can't eat in the snails, right? It's not good for you. It's not good. It's an abomination to you. Ooh, that word scares me. It's not healthy for you. It's going to break you down. And I'm not going to be able to maximize what I want to do with you because you're going to limit yourself about what you put in your mouth. Now, of course, if you put it in your mouth, later on, keep following me. I'm going to show you what to do in order to be corrected. So, but the bottom line is, we got to eat right. We got to take care of ourselves. And that's just, yep, you say, well, you fat. I ain't going to stay fat. Anyway, here we go. I am in Leviticus chapter 12. Now the Father, my Father, the loving God, is getting ready to tell me, now that I understand the laws, now that I understand what I should eat, he said, now let's have a baby. And let's tell you how I'm going to carry the orders out in having a baby. So I'm going to talk to the mothers today. And this is what the word is saying. So don't look at it like, oh, here we go. No, he's giving instructions. He's trying to show us how, as mothers, because he's getting ready to, he has a new family. He has a new group of people called the Jews, Abraham's children. He said, I got to set you apart, and I want you to know everything about life, even from the start or the body that goes through the process of delivering the baby. Let me tell you what's going on up in here. All right, chapter 12. 11 talks about what to eat and don't eat. Chapter 12, let's see how God wants us to, now that we got all of that straight, let's go in and have a baby and see how to do it from here. Let's have a family. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, he said, now I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to the men and the women. I'm talking to everybody. So this is not a separate lesson for the men. And just because it's getting ready to talk about a woman, he's just speaking to the children of Israel. That means everybody. Saying, if a woman have conceived seed, God cares about everything. He said, if she got pregnant and bore, and she brings forth a child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. According to the days of the separation for her infirmity shall she be unclean. In other words, a woman has a period. And every month that body goes through and that egg is not fertilized, it releases the unfertilized egg through the passage of blood. And he said that now God talking this to everybody, to the babies, to the children, to the men, to the women. He told Moses, and then in fact he told Moses to say this. This is a man telling us this. So a lot of times we have separation of men and women, but everything that a woman needs to know, there are times that you instruct a woman, yes, of course. But God told this man, Moses, to tell this to the children of Israel about these women. Ooh. If a woman have conceived seed and born a child, then she shall be unclean 7 days according to the days of separation for her infirmity shall she be unclean. So every time her menstruation came on, she was considered unclean. That means she didn't touch anything that was holy. She didn't go into the holy place. She set aside and kept herself to a point that I'm not going to mingle with everybody else because my body going through a process. Just like Jacob, when he got ready to go and his wife stole his thing from her daddy. And then her daddy came looking for it, and then she said, you know, she had sat on it. And her daddy, she had this idol, and then her daddy was looking for that thing, and Jacob said, anybody that's got to kill it. And so she stole it and sat on it. Then when her daddy came by, she said, "Daddy, pardon me, I can't get up because I'm on my period." So therefore, that lets me know that they were separated, and didn't nobody, they understood that when a woman going through that, that's a different type of setting. So God said, during that time, you unclean. So when she has a baby, just like the body secretes blood, then that's unclean. During that time, he was comparing that time after the baby as the time that a woman sheds blood during her monthly period. And in the 8th day, after the baby get 8 days old, the little boy, and in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. All right, so if she has a baby boy, then the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. This is what God is saying to the children of Israel. Now in the United States, I had all boys. They don't wait 8 days, and I didn't know to wait 8 days. All I know, they say it's a boy. Then they said, "You want them circumcised?" I said, "Yeah." They did that in a matter of 3 days. So I was not following the Jewish traditions of what God had given. But God wanted these people, even though circumcision was not the first thing, it didn't happen because Abraham was the first one to do it. But Abraham did it like God said. Go in there and circumcise everybody in your house, and from now on, the instructions are every male child being born from a woman, go through that complete week. Like after the Sabbath time, somebody said, "Give me 7 days," and then on that first day, I want that child, I want that little boy, go get him circumcised, and let him know for the rest of his life why I did it. This is a covenant that I made. So when he opened up his pants and go to the restroom and see himself, know that he has a promise down here. And it is to be applied only to the one that I told you the promise will flow through. Get your wife and see that yourself being circumcised as a reminder of what I gave you and what you need to do with it. You need to, the boys, y'all need to know this. I'm just saying I got all boys. So when I say things, I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm reading the word. Moses was telling me about this, so I'm telling y'all what Moses told us. Say, keep your pants, look at yourself when you wake up in the morning, realize this thing belongs to God. And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. All right, he said, now take that baby after 8 days and go get him circumcised. After 7 days, and on the 8th day, get that boy circumcised. And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days, 33 days, and she said, touch no hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. So the 7 days, and then from that day, somebody just said, the 40 days went by. And after that 40 days, because she had a little boy, well, let's go to the word. And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days. She shall touch no holy thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. In other words, all the process. You haven't had a period in 9 months. Your body's going to bleed a little longer. So therefore, you stay away from the sanctuary. You brought the baby. Now go back home and stay until the purifying of your body, until your body goes through everything that's not supposed to be in you come out. You go out, stay in there after you had a little boy for 33 days. Well, 7 days, and then you got 33 days, which is a total of 40. He said, don't come back into the sanctuary. And don't touch anything that's holy. He said, but there's a difference if you got a little girl. But if she bear a maid child, that's a girl, woman, child. Notice that God called it, he didn't call him a boy. He said if he bear a man child. So I'm calling him what he is to become. Now if she has a maid, which is a girl, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks. So we're going to double that time, as in her separation. And she shall, in other words, just like a normal period would be, that's considered unclean. But if she has a girl, 2 weeks, not 1. And she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days. That means 66 days. Scores mean counting by 20. So 66 days she shall be separated. Can't come, don't go to quote church. I say that, but the place of worship. And she's not circumcised. I mean, only the boys get circumcised. So I looked at that, and to bring some life into it, I would say that when you have a little boy, I need him out of the house quicker. And then little girls, I need y'all to take a little more care with her. Mama stay at home with that little girl a little bit longer, because she's in this life, you're going to know that a girl is very fragile, not fragile to the point that it's just that her upbringing is a delicate type thing, so you have to handle it with a little more care. So if I said that, I wouldn't be incorrect, because that's what I would tell anybody. And little boys, hurry up, go, get up and do what you got to do, go make this world a better place. So let's get some order here. Boys, I need to see you in 40 days. Girls, I need to see you in 80 days. We're going to double that. And when the days of her purifying, okay, once the mom has the baby and goes through the process of being purified, all that blood coming out, being, I'm talking real clear, because this is God speaking. And if you don't say it clearly, even though you say, oh, you still got to say it, because Moses had to say it. And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation unto the priest. All right, now we're on the same playing field. If it's a boy or a girl, whenever she goes through, her body goes through that purifying, getting everything that's out of her that's not supposed to be in her after having a baby, whether it's a male or a female, she got to be born. I mean, you got to go through the process of understanding that I'm getting ready to go before God. And like Jesus said, in him there's neither male or female. When it comes down to who I am, I need everybody to come in the same door. So right here, he said, once they get to the point of going, the mom get through there, then she is to bring an offering. All right, and when the days of her purifying are fulfilled for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering. Get a lamb that's a year old, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation unto the priest. So you come in the front door, and you see the priest, and this is what he's going to do. Who shall offer it before the Lord and make an atonement for her. This is not for the baby, this is for her. Who shall offer it before the Lord and make an atonement for her, and she shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood. So everything that was released out of her, that atonement made her right and clean, because whatever was released from her, this was God's initial instructions to Eve. He said, you're going to have a baby, it's going to be through pain. You shouldn't have done that, Eve. So everybody that has a baby from Eve, or brought life into the world, because of the sin of Adam, everybody that enters the world has to be presented before God. And it has to come with an offering of atonement, because you brought something into this world that is counted as a person that has to go through the process of being born again. Even though this was not the born again process, but this is saying that in order for this woman to come back in the presence of God, that had to be an offering of exchange, because what Adam and Eve did was passed all the way down. The Bible says from Adam to Moses, death reigned on everything. But now God has given an atonement so that you don't die for everything that you do wrong. Between Adam and Moses, anything wrong, it was equivalent to death. But now he's giving some stipulations, says do this like this, and then as long as you process this, then I will accept it as an atonement. Something that I won't look at you. Every time I look at you, I ain't gonna get mad at what you did. They were funny to me. But anyway, God accepted you to say, now I see you as a vessel that I can use. All right. when she came before the door of the tabernacle, when I come back, everybody knew she was back. Because they were there, the sister so-and-so. She got, oh yeah, that's what you got, that turtle dove. Well, okay. Who shall offer it, then the priest, who shall offer it before the Lord and make an atonement for her, and she shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood. This is the law for her that hath born a male or a female. Excuse me. So when that mom comes back and she brought that offering, everybody understood she just had a baby. She just going through the process to get herself right back with God, because she just gave birth to somebody else through her body that has to come through the process of, because all of us are born in sin. And then was the way that once you gave birth to this child, you had to give a sin offering and a burnt offering. And he said, what is that? You had to go back and look at the first, second, and third, fourth, and through the 6th chapter. I think it explains the 2 of those. The burnt offering was everything about, it was that lamb, and that lamb, everything was burned. And then that sin offering was part of it was burnt and part of it was eaten. And that was, go back and read it because I don't want to confuse you anymore, but it was 2 of them. The burnt offering means that, for instance, I came to the word of God and I totally submitted everything I am, and everything about me was, after it was burned, the smoke of it was accepted by God as a burnt offering. No flesh involved. Then a sin offering, because there's something that I didn't do right. Then I brought an offering to say, okay, now not only did I do that, I bring to show that what I did was not right. First, all of me, and then the part of me that was not right. And if she be not able to bring a lamb, God has provisions. Said, let's say she can't afford a lamb. And she said, bring 2 turtle doves, 2 turtles, or 2 young pigeons, the one for the burnt offering and the other for a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her, and she shall be clean. So just in case you can't afford, look at God. He said, you can't afford that? I still want you to come. Go get you 2 turtles, I think it was turtle dove, and 2 pigeons, and you bring that. And guess who did that? Mary. When she got ready to have Jesus, when she had Jesus, she brought Jesus, because they were still doing the same thing. Jesus went through the same thing that the Old Testament went through when he was born. And after 8 days, she brought him as a sacrifice, and she brought an offering of a poor woman. So that means he said, I became poor. I became just like you. So in exchange, you can come just like me. So what is Leviticus 12 talking about? And if I have to go back to clarify the offerings, I don't have a problem with that. Because sometimes when you bring in this and then you're trying to add all of what you brought into one, I just want to make sure that I'm very clear about the different offerings. I do know that the burnt offering was the thing that was burnt on that brazen offering. And then that sin offering, I had to go back exactly and see exactly where it was burned. But it was 2 different offerings that was offered for what was going on after a woman had a baby. So what is the essence of what is the summary of what I'm learning about what God is saying? That I care enough about you to tell you what I want from the beginning of your conception until the actual time that you come back and you are getting ready to be able to come before me, in and out. So I'm not just going to leave you hanging having the baby. When people walk around and say, well, God did not leave instructions for us in what to do with children, then that's the word of God just declared that not to be true. That's why we have to study this word. This is what the mom does. I'm going to watch this baby from the moment of conception. And I'm not even talking about all the other things that we do with babies that don't line up with the word of God, like get rid of them. From the moment of conception, I'm going to tell you what to do with the babies, the son, have him circumcised after 7 days, get him circumcised, stay back in that house for 33 days. And then when you have a daughter, your body going to be a little bit different. I need you to stay in the house for 60 We'll go back and look at it. I might have lost the numbers. I closed my Bible, but it's double the time. So it's like an 80-day process. And then stay in there and take care of that baby. And don't nobody come near you. You got somebody to help you. And anybody come in contact with you, they knew that they were also coming in contact with a woman that was unclean. So they had to do the necessary things to make sure they got themselves right. But, and then when you come back, bring an offering for you. And you had the baby, and that baby was born into sin. So bring an offering. Let's get this thing rolling again. Because in order for us to go before God, we have to, anything that's unclean, any process of anything, because I was reading where they said nobody, and it's in the word, we can't give God anything clean. Well, just because we had a baby don't mean that we giving him something brand new now is clean. He said everything that come out of you is unclean. So we just have to accept the fact that once we give birth, that baby needs to be born again. It needs to be, you need to be clean because you brought him. And then when that baby gets old enough, then he got to go through the process of giving himself. Anything else I wanted that I learned? I don't know. I had something that just came across my mind, but it left my head. But anyway, that's how God starts this thing. So he has a plan. He's giving us how to eat. Now he's telling us what to do when this baby first get here. And then the next chapter would tell us the next thing we need to do. So he got this thing down packed. He has not left us comfortless. All we have to do is stay in his word and walk with him daily and watch him flow all the way. And if I have to do anything again, as I spoke, to clarify this, to make it easy, because I don't want to leave you confused. Or if you got some comments that can make it brighter for people that wants to know a little bit more about the care of God in the natural form, naturally caring about what we eat, naturally caring about the babies that we bring into the world, naturally caring about the woman's body. He's our Father. Hey, I can't hardly wait to get into the next chapter. Talk to y'all later. Love y'all. Bye.